Did 27 years in prison. I've been out 8. Man, let me tell y'all about this time. They charged me with assault with a deadly weapon on an inmate in prison. All right, we was in the dining room, and me and this girl, we had some words, and you know we was okay. We wasn't buddy, but we was okay at one point. So we was in the kitchen, and I think we was working in the kitchen at the time. And you know, anybody that's been in culinary in the kitchen is frustrating. But anyway, okay, we had a few words, and I was done with it. She was done with it. So anyway, she was over there in the corner talking to her friend, and you know, we had to squash the situation, but then she said something else, and I had a broom in my hand, and I was pushing the broom, right? But, you know, I wasn't mad, and then I was just playing, and she said something, and I forgot what it was, but anyway, I picked the broom up, just playing, and I did like this. I say, man, go ahead on with that, and I was playing. Y'all, the broom, you know, it was a screw-in broom, and you could screw it on and screw it off because we used to change the broom heads. Man, the broom head flew off the stick and went through the air traveling, and I watched it in slow motion. That thing was like, and the girl, you know, if anybody know what I'm talking about, when we got them plastic long cups in prison, you can't break them. I don't care. You can throw them things against the wall. They ain't gonna break, man. That thing, that's some durable plastic. She was just about to put ice up to her mouth, and the thing came and hit the cup, and the cup was in her hand, and when it hit the cup, her hand went like this. That the broom split the cup just like this. That her hands was collapsed around the cup. Man, if the broom had not hit the cup, it would have split her head. And we was watching this in slow motion, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And I don't know what to say, but anyway, everybody was in shock. And the officers, you know, they in the dining room, and they saw it, and they looking, and they came over to me, and they put me in cuffs. Man, they took me to confinement. Now, mind you, y'all, they had just passed another rule in classification saying that anybody come to confinement with assault with a deadly weapon or assault, period, automatic CM. Automatic CM. Now, I done told y'all about my first CM story when I first went close management, where you do all that time in confinement. Remember, I explained the levels to y'all. Level 6 is the 6 to, level 3 is the 6 to whatever months, and level 2, 12, whatever, and level 1 is 16 months or 2 years or whatever. I explained that to y'all in the other video about that close management, how those levels go. Man, them people put me in confinement. So I'm in confinement. Next thing you know, it wasn't even 24 hours. One of the ladies, the lieutenants, no, a sergeant came and read me the DR. I'm in there, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this thing is real, man. I ain't mean it. And I was trying to tell them I ain't mean it. So she read me the DR, and she was like, man, you know, they CM and automatic CM, and you just got out of CM. I say, I know, man, I know. So listen, after she read me the DR, I was waiting on my property. I ain't have my property in there because when you go to confinement, it takes a minute for your property to get there because they have to strip your bed, pack your stuff, and go through everything. And then that's when you lose all your contraband, everything you accumulated during the years, all your accessories that, you know, you don't have a property slip for. So anyway, I'm laying in there. It's just a cold cell with a mattress, and there's nothing else in the cell. So I was discouraged. I was so defeated in my spirit. And I was like, hey, man, I ain't mean it, man. Lord, I ain't mean it, man. So, man, I was hurt. I was broken. So I laid on that mattress, and I did like this, and I pulled my shirt over my head like this, and I started crying, and I started praying to God. I was in tears. I say, Lord, you know I didn't mean it. You know, Lord, I was just playing. I know I ain't had no business slanging it, but I was really just playing. Like, I didn't have no motive in my heart to hit her. I didn't have no motive in my heart. God, I wasn't even angry when I did it. Now, let me tell y'all something. The Bible says in 1 Samuel 16:7, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. Now, you know, according to the officers, because we already inmates, we already in there and guilty of something. We guilty of everything. So anytime you do something, they're going to look at you like you guilty anyway. Whether you meant to do it or not, you still guilty according to man, according to those officers. But listen, when I tell you that God looketh on the heart and God know that I didn't mean it. See, they was already judging me about the situation. They was already judging me because it was assault with a deadly weapon. They was already judging me because I'm already in prison. They was already judging me because I already got a number and a name tag and I'm already an inmate and the judge already found me guilty. See, while they was judging me like that, you know, I was crying out to God because I'd rather be in the hand of God anytime than to be in the hand of man. So I'm sitting there and I'm crying. So they did that DR hearing quick. Guess what? The next day, two lieutenants came and they called my name and they told me to come to the door. So I came to the door and they read the DR. Usually it take about 7 days for them to come and do a DR. So I'm like, I'm scared. So they read the charges and they ask me what I plead. And I say, I plead not guilty. And they asked me for explanation. I start explaining. I say, man, you know, I didn't mean it the way that they putting it. And, you know, I'll admit I did pick up the broom, but I admit that my intentions and my motives was not assault with a deadly weapon. I was just playing, and this is how it happened, and I explained, and I just did like this, and I was playing. So I was basically kind of admitting, but I was still saying I was not guilty because I was judging myself like God judged me. I was judging from my motive. I wasn't judging from my action. Yeah, according to me throwing the broom, that was my action, but in my motives, I was not guilty, and I pled not guilty. And so I want y'all to know that they told me to step away from the door, and they stepped away to the side while I stepped back. They called me back up. They say, Brent, inmate, we find you guilty, but we gonna sentence you to work detail. Now, work detail is like 15 or 20 days. You go with the inside ground officer and you just pick up trash all day and cigarette butts all day, you know, for like 15 or 20 or 30 days. And when they said that, I was like, huh? And I was like, thank you. Because that mean I was getting out. I wasn't going close management. I wasn't about to get that charge. They was just going to let me out. And all I had to do, instead of going back to my original job wherever I worked, I was just going to have to walk around with the inside ground officer all day, get up 6 a.m. and walk around with him to 4 p.m. just picking up trash or mowing yards or cutting yards. But I was still free and back in my dorm. I just want to say this, according to Proverbs 21:1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord as the rivers of water. God, he turn it into whatever direction he chooses. I don't care what the situation is. I don't care what it is y'all going through. I don't care what it is your loved ones going through. Man, the king's heart is in the hand of God. Man, God is in control, because I supposed to have been CM. You know, I supposed to have with CM again. I supposed to have got that charge because I was guilty of throwing that broom, but my motives of my heart. So I just want y'all to know, I know some of y'all done did things. I know some of your loved ones done did things, but man, let me tell you something. Don't even worry about it when they stand before the judge, because sometimes you get put in desperate situations. Sometimes things happen. Sometimes you do things out of fear. You do it out of anger. You do it because somebody provoked you. But let me tell you something. God know your heart. He know the motive. He know the reason. And man, that's why God tends to have mercy on whomever he want to have mercy on. He causes his he reigns on the just and the unjust. He causes the sun to shine on the evil and the good. Let me tell you something. There's nothing too hard for God. I don't care what situation you in. God could bring you out. The only way you going wrong is that you won't open your mouth and asking. He's not going to do it unless you asking. The Bible tells us, asking it shall be given, seeking you shall find, knocking the door shall be open. You got to keep asking. You got to keep seeking, and you got to keep knocking. Don't just ask one time. Keep knocking, keep knocking, keep knocking, keep knocking. Because, man, if you keep knocking, it's your perseverance that's going to get God to show up and show out on your behalf. You got to keep bombarding the kingdom of heaven. You got to keep calling that name Jesus. You got to keep asking him. You got to keep knocking on that door. And I'm telling you, eventually the Lord going to answer. I'm telling you, I've seen it happen in my life too many times. Y'all be blessed.